An emergency operations center is a designated location where police and fire, public works, community development, and any other partners can meet to effectively deal with an emergency management situation. That, for instance, could be a flood, it could be a tornado.
This is the Lakewood Wheat Ridge Emergency Operations Center. The city of Lakewood and the city of Wheat Ridge support each other in case of an emergency, because we've found most things that affect one city affect the other.
This facility is state of the art. This was a project that was put together between the cities of Wheat Ridge and Lakewood and their emergency management sections within those cities.
The Lakewood/Wheat Ridge Emergency Operations Center is probably technologically one of the most advanced in the state. I've not seen one, and I've seen a lot around the metro area, that has as many resources as this facility has. Your blast zone for the actual blast, according to Jeffco Bomb, is only going to be 300 feet. The scenario we set up was one where there was a disgruntled customer of Consolidated Mutual who wanted to damage the company but didn't particularly want to harm people. So we imagined that he had filled a rowboat up with explosives enough to take down the main gate of the dam, which would cause a flood and an explosion, disaster area around the explosion. But he gave us 2 hours warning before he was going to set it off because he didn't want to harm people.
It's been determined at this point that our primary resources have to go to evacuation.
And in essence, you have 4 primary functions. You have a operations branch, you have a logistics and planning branch that are pertinent to a particular location and dealing with the actual event that is occurring. There is a financial component to these EOCs, as well as a press information piece to this as well.
There's a threat for a bomb detonation at Maple Grove Reservoir. Our concern, of course, is life safety. So what we're starting to do is we're going to start establishing a perimeter to restrict access to the area and start evacuations.
We have one room where we put a group of people that represent the on-scene incident command operation. The incident commander, his immediate staff, a chief of operations, somebody to coordinate victims coming out of the areas.
There's a whole lot of stuff that we know needs to be done that we can't do out in the field. So we tell the EOC, get a hold of CDOT and start shutting down the state highways. This is stuff that I'm saying we can feed up to the EOC, stuff that we know that needs to be done, but we don't have the resources on scene to deal with it.
That drives their request to the Emergency Operations Center, which is in another room. This now tests our communications ability between the on-scene commanders and the people in the Emergency Operations Center. If you need things you don't have, you can go to this room. And they will, if you decide you don't have something, those people in that room will buy you something. Do we need barricades to shut down streets? Do we need more police officers? So we test the resources as well as setting up objectives and advising other jurisdictions of a potential flood in their direction.
I think we need some spots over here, and you said they're working on that. Okay.
If exercises go perfectly, we don't learn a lot. What we look for a lot of times in exercises is what doesn't go as well as we thought it should go. Because in an exercise, if we find out those things ahead of time that don't go well, we can correct them before a real disaster. One of the issues we always have and we're trying to work through is learning how to make everybody know what's going on. Have we closed Wheat Ridge Rec Center and evac that? That's what I'm trying to make sure is that your counterparts at the incident command know this.
I'm just over here writing down things that we would feed to the EOC, like we're going to need to contact RTD if we're going to need buses. We're going to need them to figure out where the shelters are going to be, both north and south of the area of hazard.
Every action that's taken gets recorded by documentation because it's really important for us to know when, what happened, and it displays on this board what we call a rolling status board. The rolling status board then keeps going around. You can identify how important the issue is, who requested it, when it was requested, when it was completed. And so this then we keep to document the event. Struggle through those issues now so we're on board when we have to do a real one.
I don't think it's been as chaotic here as it was the last time.
What's great about exercises is we bring people together who don't normally work together. And it's not just the police department, it's the Wheat Ridge Police Department and the Wheat Ridge Public Works and the Wheat Ridge Parks and Rec. When you have exercises, you bring people who have other jobs together for this purpose, and they work together, they get to know how each other works. A team is really built, and when the really bad thing happens, they can come together and immediately start clicking to make things better.
Because we've gotten to know one another better, we do a much more effective job in our day-to-day operations in the city. Our patrol officers and our patrol supervisors know who they can call from Public Works, or they know who they can call from community development if it involves an unsafe building. So it just helps to form those collaborative relationships and opens up those lines of communications.
They're setting up shelters.
Yeah.
They've asked Jefferson County for support at the shelters.
Yeah. I like to know that what I'm doing is going to help the public at some point.
We think it's a state-of-the-art facility. We're proud of it. We're proud of the fact that we were able to collaborate with folks from Lakewood in terms of developing this facility, and we think it'll be a real benefit to the citizens of Wheat Ridge in the future.